G'day everybody, and welcome back to Arcadia. And here I am at the trade station, hoping that I can make enough money to stay the night, because currently I have 28,000 and it costs 30,000 for me to stay the night, which means I need to probably go and do a search mission, which should be working now. In the past 2 weeks, have added a bunch of stuff and have also fixed a bunch of stuff with the Scrapyard mod, so that now most of this stuff should be working. So let's do something that's going to pay a little bit more than a salvage, and let's go... We'll go a small search. Accept. And hope that we can complete this mission. I hope this works. The big goal for me today is to find my truck. There it is. The second big goal for me today is to build a functional crane using MArmOS. Frosty taught me a bunch about how to make it work. Unfortunately, that was over a week ago, so it'll be interesting to find out how much I remember. I am going to have to scrap my existing crane to make it something that's more MMOS friendly, but we'll cross that bridge soon. Soon, hopefully. Ah, am I going to increase the cost per night each night I stay? No, I don't think so. I think I'm going to leave it as a flat 30k, because doing things like making functional cranes, well, I'll keep it flat until I find out that it's too easy, and then I'll make it harder. But I don't want something that's gonna force me to... I don't want exponential growth that means at some point I just can't do it anymore. Because the whole idea behind it was to make the nights scary and make me have to go back and forth and do these missions and risk something while doing the missions. What is that? That looks like a heavy lift helicopter with stuff aboard. Ah, I reckon I can take a quick look. Let's take a quick squeeze. Does that 30k at least include breakfast? It doesn't, the cheapskates. No included breakfast. Oh, okay, there is something on here that I probably want to collect. Well, speaking of, breakfast. Let's eat some hardtack. And then, grab this thruster that's up here. Is that going to make it pop off? Yes, it is. Excellent. Let's go pop this on my perfectly, flawlessly designed trailer from last time. That's actually... It is actually the best trailer that I've made so far during this stream series. It is a massive improvement over what it was. Also, I hear you, Spider. I really do like using the bigger landing gear. I know I could use the one block high ones, but using the big ones rather than mag plates has proven to be quite handy. Oh, alright. Oh, wait. Uh-oh. What have I done? Uh-oh. Interesting. Ow! What button did I push then that made the game do that? That was weird. Release the cheese! Come on. Is that a save? I don't know. No, no. Ow!
Health.
Ah! I flung it! I flung the spider away. Boom! Yeah. Oh, that's not... That's a little... Not great. Let's do that again. That's better. That is better. Okay. Night is nearly falling. I've got to be going. Got to be going relatively quickly. Now, where am I up to? Yeah. Thank you, Treadway. Thank you for the Prime sub. And thank you, Jakito Seal, for the 29 months. And View! Thank you very much for the 5 gift subs. And the 7 months. Thank you very much. And Sweet Inspector, thank you for the 20 months. And Battlestorm, thank you for the 34 months. And the gift sub as well. And thank you, Kidamaru, for the 41 months. And Corn Dog, thank you for the 200 celebratory bits and 11 months. And Minilin G, thank you for the 25 months. Okay, I'm at the location. Can I find the thing? Asford, thank you for the Prime sub as well. Is that it just there? That is it just there. Ooh. I think unknown signals should be re-enabled. And so unknown signals should be working today too. Okay, I found the thing. And as we just heard, GPS sound, because I got close enough to this hot dog cart. I'm gonna have to do the Dodgy Brothers lifting mechanism. Because I don't have time to fix the crane yet. But I would like to have the crane work for this so that I can do these sorts of missions quickly. Yeah, somebody must really want a hot dog. Yeah, I think these are working properly now. This will be the first time on stream that I'll have had one of these work, if this works. Well, sure. That is totally not how I thought that was going to grab, but whatever. I'll do. Alright, homeward bound. Because that sun is getting very low. Thank you, View. Thank you for the 100 bits as well. And 30 Mile, thank you for the Prime sub. And Delicos, thank you for the Prime sub as well. Cat is in amazing shape. Spiders must have got the guy. Yep, they got hungry and they ate the good bits. Which is definitely not the hot dogs. Just the guy serving. I don't know why. I'm thinking that I've gotten the vanilla component of Scrapyard to a pretty good spot now. There are 44 different spawn groups for the salvage missions. There's 8 or so different unknown signals. There's a similar number for the unknown salvage beacon one there. That one I can quickly expand with all of the salvage missions. So I'm hoping that that means as long as I don't find any horrible bugs today, for next week I will have started to replace the MES component as well. Because that's the next big thing, is to do lots of stuff on making the MES component work better. One of the things I'd also like to do... I should have made that hinge stronger. One of the things I'd also like to do... Whoops. That's worse than it seems. Because now I need to go find another mission. Oh no. And it is getting real late. Otherwise, I'm driving the whole way around the planet again. Also, I appear to have jammed this on there. Well. Okay, you are going to get more torque. Oh dear. Let's see what it does when I return this. I think I've set it to you need to return 50% of the thing. I think. Or it might have been 80%. I can't remember. It was one of them. Was one of them. Thank you, Nomus. Thank you for the Prime sub. Aren't I supposed to be going after the sun? Well, yes. I am in a way. I realized in the last few weeks, at least, that the potential of sleeping the night at the trade station actually makes me more likely to risk being near the dark. Hey! That was a success! We can blame all that damage on the spiders. Yeah. So, the principle was that I need to earn enough money to stay the night. Ooh, I did not get paid much. Wow. I only got paid... I didn't get paid the 27 it said it was going to. How rude. Oh, man. Ugh. I mean, I only need the 30k, and that's exactly what I've got, so... That's fine. Oh, I got an idea. I wonder if there's somewhere I can get you guys to decide what it costs per night to stay here. Either way, though. What the? I manually added this ATM. Yeah, the idea was, instead of me driving around constantly and chasing the sun, I may still end up driving around following the sun, but it'll be with specific goals in mind. So instead of doing that, I can sleep here, reset where the sun is, and then do missions to allow myself to do that again. So it creates a much more interesting dynamic around the nighttime because I'm not just driving. So it's all... that's why I kind of like the idea of staying here the night, because it does change things a little bit more. Oh yeah, you can. I don't need the ATM block. Whoop. Always forget that this is here. Even though I've sometimes clicked on this instead of this because two amounts. Yeah, withdraw 30,000. We'll leave it on the desk. There we go. I've paid for my night. There we go. Yeah, I have to make at least X income per day. Where's my survival kit? I would like to have some health back. That would be nice. So I did notice earlier someone was asking about, can you play this version of Scrapyard? No, you can't. Um, it is not available. It is currently a local-only mod, which means this is an offline game. And it's possibly going to stay that way for a little while yet, because there's plenty of work to be done on the mod before it is release ready. The point at which you know it'll be getting released is the point at which I start teasing about a new Scrapyard series over on the Splitsy YouTube channel. That's when you know it's close to release. Could you add a key card for sale for 30k? I could also, but I could also just do what I just did. And not have to worry about modding something in. Just kind of easier for me. I don't have to make an item. I don't have to do all that other stuff. I can just be like, yep, it's done. This works. Alright, so, night. Let's go. The storm rolls through. And the sun comes up. There we go. We have a whole day to make a crane now. Oh yeah. Let's get out of this safe zone so I can do some building. Now, some might say it would make sense to earn enough money at the start of the day. But I would say, nah. Now, I think it'd be interesting if you could figure out a way to make like, I think it'd be interesting if you could figure out a way to make it so you could pay to stay a night at a trade station. I can't for the life of me think of anything within my skill set that would enable that to be a thing. The reason I think it'd be interesting for that is this version of Scrapyard is intended to be played with the Apex survival stuff enabled, so buffs and seriously? So buffs and food and all that stuff. Because you find food in the wrecks. Now, I still haven't added actual farms to find. That's probably something I should look at doing sooner rather than later. But at the moment, most of the builds that I've added to the Scrapyard are still warehouse style. I've almost completed all of the warehouse style ones. And we'll be moving on to houses this week, I think. I'm basically trying to gradually move through my build world and get everything done in a nice long line so I know which ones are done and which ones aren't. When is a new SE2 video coming out? Well, I'm not sure. The reason I'm not sure is because I wasn't sure whether I'd do another SE2 one straight away or whether I'd do more Mission Improbable. I'll probably do SE2 first and then do a Mission Improbable after that. But I want to try and do both of them this week. Oops, didn't need to do that. So I'm not 100% certain just yet. But it will be soon. It won't be long. I did have a comment on YouTube that was clearly from someone who's not really watched my channel much, saying, "You said another video was going to be soon. It's not here yet." 2 days after I've posted that video. I'm like, interesting. I don't think I've ever continued a series that quickly. Maybe Mission Improbable was close, but that would be the first time. It's pretty funny. I was like, oh, okay. What do I think of SE2 survival? Give me a couple of weeks so I can have a fully formed concept. But if you don't own either game, you buy SE1 still. I don't think that's changed. I don't think this update has changed that. That is my impression so far. Okay, so, good morning, Charlie. MMOS likes rotors, not hinges. Because hinges have restrictions on them that don't play nice with inverse kinematics. So, we need to go with rotors the whole way. And to make it easier to set up stuff with MMOS, it's good to keep things on axis. So what I mean by that is have stuff that's in line in at least one of the axes. So X, Y, or Z. So I'm just trying to decide right now whether I want to go block in the middle, rotor each side, and then come back to the middle at the end of that for the second part. I think that's the way I'll go. And hope that I can figure out which way these things are supposed to turn. It's possible I may do this the easier way, and instead of going double rotors actually functional, just turn one of them off. Because then I don't have to worry about making both work. Yeah, I'll probably have to label them and things. That is true. Like, I do have to label them all. And I gotta figure out what... a, naming system. SE1 because of more content? No. SE1 just because it's better. SE1 is the better game, the better sandbox. SE1 is currently a better game and a better sandbox. It's more stable, it's more predictable. It's a better experience. It's a better experience in every way except for graphically. I'm still going to be able to find my fun in SE2. Damage is turned off. What the? Well, I guess I've got a friend. Weird. Oh, hearing that... Oh, no. Now you're free. Yeah, like, I don't want to be too harsh on SE2 because there are other people who do that. And that's just not something that I find all that interesting to do. But SE1 is the better experience. Like, if you're debating between the two, if you're someone who just builds in creative mode, then sure, things might be different for you because the single grid system does make that better. You can build so much more cool stuff. But for anyone else, literally anyone else, SE1's going to give you more. It's just what it is. Let's get that moving this way so I can... Oh, fixed arm, piston arm. Kind of need to do piston arm to make this crane be able to reach places, but I didn't actually do an MMOS arm with pistons. I can add the pistons later. As in, I can add the functionality of the pistons later. But I do need to have pistons. How do I want to do the pistons? I don't know. It's... oh. Yeah, a lot of what's making me a bit... I'm always surprised when we get an update for SE2 and it's doing something that is familiar from SE1 without doing it in the familiar way. So instead of them doing it in the way that we know, they've done it a different way. Like wheels. Why don't we have steering controls? Did they not expect us to build strange things that their automated system is not going to be able to predict? Oh! Oh! Oh. That's not good. Yeah, I goosed it. I goosed it good. Alright, we're not going to go with a complex crane. We're going to go with simple. We're going to make something that works. And then, once I feel like I know what the heck I'm doing, we can make something more complicated. We're going to go single hinge, single rotors, simple pistons on the rotors, nothing fancy. Let's just make something that moves smooth. Let's go a bit higher. Put one of these guys on here so that we can have piped to a cockpit that is controlling on here. Yeah, this is gonna be a better way of doing this. Keep it simple. Keep it so that stupid here, me, can actually do it. Thank you, Squared. Thank you for 17 months. Thank you, Corn Dog, for the bits. Looking at chat and grinding. I choose not to say anything on the grounds I might incriminate myself. Whoops. Whoopsie. So, of those of you in chat, has anyone here made an MMOS crane? Has anyone made one? I'm curious. We've got one yes. And several no's. Yes, several. That's 2 yeses. Played around with it back in the day, but that was ages ago, yeah. I tried to learn it years ago. It's gotten a bit easier, I think, than it was. Let's go like that. So that then gets our next bit. Need to check if that can actually spin. I think that works. Nope, still letting SE in general. Fair enough. Nope, my excuse is because I play on Xbox. Well, I mean, that's a good excuse. You can't. Unless you decide to pay to host a server. Oh, no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work at all. How do I want to do this? I might do... Maybe I'll go... Basically, what I'm trying to do right now is bring the rotor in line with those pistons. I think I go like this. So that the piston arm is all perfectly on axis. And that the rotation point for all of the different bits of this is all in line. As it should make it simpler to set up. Oh man, I gotta deal with those spiders, don't I? They are getting noisy. Huh. Huh. Come on, spiders, over this way. Let's get the cheese. Got one. Oh no, that one's too close. Say cheese! Woo! Where'd the other one go? There it is. Woo! Aw! It moved. Couldn't see past my cheese. I'll just leave this on the ground while I'm waiting to get this crane done. Alright, and so we got 4 pistons on that section. We'll go 3 on this one. And then we do the whole manipulator bit at the end. And hope that I can then program this into MMOS. Hope that I've got another programmable block that I'm not using any of them right now, am I? Okay. Now, trying to remember what Frosty did with his crane arm. So that I can sort of do something similar that'll hopefully be okay. I think we go 3 rotors. Go 1 like that. Then 1 like that. And do something like this. I think. I'm excited to be able to use the event controller for this stuff in SC2. Yeah. So stuff like the keybind directed stuff with event controllers, that sort of thing is a really cool addition to SE2. That's the sort of stuff that I was thinking they were going to do. You know, take what works in SE1, bring it into the new engine, and make it better because you're being able to design it from the ground up. I didn't expect them to do things like floaty movement controls that are awkward and that have to be disabled for you to be able to have a gyroscope on a rover. I didn't expect them to do super dampeners again after it was such a disaster in SE1. And there were just a few things that I'm like, what? Why? This was a lesson you were supposed to have learnt. What are you doing? I think that works. And then we go with a block, I think, because I want to put a well, I want to put a camera here. Probably not. But I may want to put some sort of light. So then let's just make sure all the things can spin. Yeah, that looks good. Alright. Then we'll go... get this close to, but not... oh wait, no, I need to name these things before I get them out of range. Or I can't reach them anymore. Why am I using rotors, not hinges? Because, yeah, MMOS can work with hinges, but it doesn't play as nice with hinges. Because hinges have their weird limits. And you know so there's a problem with hinges that you'll run into a fair bit if you use them a lot. Which is that if you go a little bit, if you go right to their limit, they get stuck. And MMOS will get them stuck a lot. Rotors don't have that issue. So that's why you use rotors. They're better. Yeah, the trouble with that logic, Shadow, that they want to make space engineers 2, not space engineers, is that I don't think if they wanted to do that and they wanted to do different, then they needed to go further. They haven't gone far enough. So I think they've kind of caught themselves in an awkward spot. I think they've not gone far enough to get a new audience, but they've gone too far to cannibalize the old audience. It's kind of like, it'd be like a makeup YouTuber suddenly doing gaming. That's a completely new audience. But if they all of us, and they can't drag their old audience over because they've changed too much. And they're sort of in this weird middle ground where they're not, yeah. And they kind of, I feel like it's a bit trapped in this, it doesn't know what it wants to be sense. Which is a bit awkward. And so I think they need to pick a direction. They need to be, we are replacing space engineers, or say goodbye to your entire space engineers audience. You can't have both. And I think they're gonna end up coming around to, we're gonna cannibalize the whole space engineers audience. But it's gonna take us some time to get there. And when they get there, I think it'll be good. It's just they've got to get there first. So let's start with, let's just call this Marm. Rotor S1. Marm Rotor S2. Rotor E1. Actually, you know what? So that I can eventually get my head around doing more complex designs, we're going to call this A1. Not shoulder, not elbows, just A, B, and C. Because I would love to get to some point in the future where I can do stuff that has more joints than the human arm. Hey, Petronicus. C1, C2, C3. I'll turn auto lock off so I don't end up grabbing something that I don't mean to. And that's the limit of what I need to set up right now. So let's go with share inertia tensor. On all these pistons. So all of these joints are really light. So we need to stabilize it a bit. Okay. Hooray! I usually name rotors based on if they are on the X, Y, or Z axis. Yeah. Yeah.
Low.
It's gonna be interesting having me try and figure this out. I don't trust myself enough yet to name them based on the axis, even though that is a sensible way to name them. I fear I will get it wrong often enough that it's a problem. Okay. So, we have a script to run on that programmable block, yeah? Yeah, let's do that one. Here goes. I wish I hadn't been sick last week, because I was really ready to do this last week, and I'm not feeling as ready now. Okay, so, MMOS. This is an incredibly powerful script. This is a script that I have wanted to learn since it first came onto the workshop many years ago. It's been through a few versions, and I have always managed to make it explode. Like, damage off in the world, still made it explode. So, that's your expectations for now. Oh dear. Okay, so we begin. This is where I have to write my configuration. Now, I really hope I left... Yes! Oh, good. I left Frosty's M20 arm, the arm that we've used in Combined Arms. I've left his setup in my little note-taking thing so I can look at his to cheat off his setup. Yay! Phew. Oh man, sorry, one sec. Oh. Okay. So, we need to define the first bit. So the way this works, I'll just run through this so that this can act as a sort of, here's how you use MMOS guide. But it tells you you need to set up, we're going to run through the advanced. Ah! Nope, we're going to get eaten by a spider. That's what's going to happen. Where'd he go? Where'd you go, spider? Ooh. Oh, you dodged. You can dodge a cheese, you can dodge a ball. I also might be reading the guide to remind myself. Yes, this is how you set up MMOS while being harassed by spiders. Whoa! Okay, that happened. Yeah, alright. So, let's get back to setting this up. Configuration. So, we're going to set up the first variable, which is going to be a rotor. Now, we gotta hope that I don't mess up any of the syntax here, because if I do, then we're going to be hunting for where I messed it up, and that's going to be a pain in the butt. Rotor A1. And the axis for this one. So if we go through here, we can see this is the axis definition. So Z pointing up, middle finger pointing to the left, and index finger pointing forward is X, middle finger being Y. So in theory, for this, those are defined when these are in this position. Imagining the whole thing is straight up in the air. Which I'm deliberately not leaving the arm in that position, because as Frosty described it to me, that's a singularity point where it can be reached by any number of means, and so it confuses the script. Thanks, Kelva. Thank you for 28 months. Thank you, Goldie Deluxe, for the Prime sub. And thank you, Pamphy. Thank you for 72 months. And Rogwin, thank you for the Prime sub. And Beldick, thank you for the 400 Rainbow Unicorns. So, this rotor is Z. There'll be another 2 Z-axis rotors down at the wrist. Both of these, I think, are Y-axis. This one's Y, and that one's Y up there. I think. I think that's how that is going to be. That's my best guess. So, then we go... axis. This is going to be Z.
The orientation mode.
No energy.
I struggle to describe exactly what it is, but basically, as best as I understand it, it's how much this thing responds, like, it's almost like a priority setting, it seems, when you're moving the mouse and controlling stuff. But it seems to work best that the stuff at the closest to the base of the crane is best set closer to 0, and the stuff at the distal end is set closer to 1. Oi. You guys just need to die. Orientation mode 0, and then we're gonna do home for this one will be 0. And make sure we end that line. Then we're going to have, oops, no capitals. No, do not accidentally do capitalizations that we're not supposed to do. Then we'll have a solid. And this is the bit that kind of messes me up. But we'll see if I can get this bit right. New solid small grid. And then I've got to figure out how large that solid is and where it goes on the X, Y, and Z. So in this case, I think because I put this dead center, this should just be a Z movement. So it's 1, 2, 3. It should be 3 on the Z. I hope. If things go weird, this is probably the first spot that I screwed it up. So we go 0 for X, 0 for Y, and 3 for Z. It's going up in the Z axis. I don't know if it is 1 in the Y, because the rotor is still directly, like the block that's being moved is directly over the other rotor. So I think it's still 0 on the Y. This was something that I was talking with Frosty a bit about and definitely did not understand completely and struggled to figure out. It seemed like it wasn't always counting from where I thought it was. It seems to be counting from the point of rotation, not from the point where the rotor is placed. And then then, Jay Gersty, you get to things like, shouldn't it be 3.5? Well, no, apparently not. So I don't know. All right, we're gonna go variable R2, new rotor, name, MArm. Oh, need the thingy. Rotor A2. Axis. Now this could be negative Y, but we're just going to go with Y for now, and we'll see if it does weird things. Excuse me, sorry. RE mode 0. Home. We'll go 4 to 5 for this one. So it sits a bit different. It doesn't sit pointing straight up. And we can fiddle with the home locations later. And then variable S2. So we get a new solid. So there shouldn't be too much of this to do, but hopefully I get it close enough in the first try that it actually works. Kind of. At least if it works enough that people can look at it and be like, oh, I see what's wrong here. So now what I need to do is I need to count the blocks between this rotor and this rotor, because they're moving on the same axis, so I need to know the distance between them to tell the script what the distance is between them. And as I understand it, even though I've got pistons here, I need to count that solid distance, and then it'll figure out the piston distance later when I tell it that there are pistons here. Oh yeah, my energy is critically low. Interesting. Good thing I'm not in a deadly area. Oh, get that back. And now, so from this rotor is, I believe we count 1 rather than 0 here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I think that's 12. And it should be 12Z. So I'll pop that in while I'm thinking of it, and then I'm going to do a quick stretch. Because Reggie is reminding me that that is a thing, and I woke up this morning and my back was sore because I stretched weirdly as I woke up and went, "Aw, come on! Not today. Not old man stuff." Why wasn't I taking damage from 0 energy? Because I'm in an oxygenated environment with a pleasant temperature. You don't take damage unless you're in a bad temperature or have no oxygen. Like, bad temperature with low energy, then you'll harm, but it's currently warm, so I don't take damage. Alright. I will be right back. Let's pause so we don't get too many spiders. Speaking of things that are broken, me, That's one of them. The other thing that is broken, my phone died last night. Well, at least it's doing its death now. Because it now has several rather bright green lines the whole way down the display. Which makes it really kind of awkward to use. Oh, spider, really? That quickly? I didn't do anything to it. I think it's the display is dead. Dead. At least the green is a calming color. Alright. So we got that distance. Now we'll have to program that rotor, and then the next distance is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, and then it'll be 1 off to the side, I think, the way that works. Let's do this. Let's, we might do, just to make sure that I haven't totally ballsed up the syntax, we'll do 1 more for the next rotor. And then see if I can get at least that part of it working. Maybe. Before I do all of the wrist bit. What I think of as the wrist bit. Rotor B1. Access. Y. Call it home 45 as well. And this will be, I think, 0, 1, 10. We'll find out. It might be -1. I still haven't quite figured that bit out yet. Which way Y1 and +1 needs to go. Trying to build a table while I'm watching the stream and every animal in the house wants to help. Well, Charlie just decided she wanted to help me make my feet warm, and she's currently lying with her head on my feet. I'm glad it's her head, because she's a hefty gal. Oh, what the heck, let's just do the whole lot. R4 equals new. Actually, no. I will stop there. We'll see if we can get this bit to work. So then, default equals R1 plus S1 plus R2 plus S2 plus R3 plus S3. I'm just going to copy what Frosty's got. I can't remember if we changed something. Marm controller. This will allow me to change the speed later if I set the speed there. Okay. Compilation successful is a good sign. Now, I need to make a controller seat. Don't just need a tutorial for this, you need a whole course. Yeah, there's a reason why, there's a reason why I chose Arc as my primary script for cranes. It's just easier. It's not as powerful, but it is just that much easier. I'm just gonna shove that there for now. We can move it and move this to make it nicer later. What? Okay, so this is going to be MARM controller. Now I think I need to go back to that programmable block. We'll deal with these spiders. That was risky. Do a quick recompile. I think it finds the controller anyway, but I'm so used to ones that need me to do that. There we go, look at that. That's just me pressing C. I will have to define where the cockpit is. Because it's doing... The controls are weird. The controls are working. But they're a bit weird. Like, up and down are correct. W and D are not working as I envisaged them. Oh, maybe they are, because that's moving it side to side relative. Yeah, that's actually working correctly. I mean, D is working fine. And then, sorry, A and D. W is doing the best it can given my limited articulation here. That's going back. Yeah, going along. It's going relative to the main grid, but I kind of ultimately I think I want to make this move relative to my control scheme to be relative to the cockpit here. Okay, the thing that, I wonder if it's just weird because I've got that limited access, but this is me moving the mouse forward and back. And it's slowly sinking down as I do it. Just strange. And moving the mouse left and right does nothing. That's fine. But Q and E are doing that, so there's something a little bit awry with my setup, but it's not too bad. Like, this is passable for the moment. Like, that's as good as I was hoping to get my first attempt. And then to fix it from there. I haven't set up the end yet at all. The little wrist mount, the wristy bit, that hasn't been set up at all. I've only set up the base bit where the cockpit is, and the elbow. That's it. It's not just good, it's good enough. Yeah. And thank you, Beef. Thank you for the prime sub. So, how do I set up the controller position again? I don't remember how to do that. Let's have a look. Does the script tell me? Because it does have decent instructions once you've built one. Assembling the unused components, blah blah blah. Need a controller. Assembling your arm in manually in MMOS is just like a mathematical equation. Yep. That's talking about how you set things up. So if we had a pair of rotors working on the same point, you have to do a multiplication or an asterisk between them. But we don't in this setup because I wanted to keep things simple. Linear joints, we won't worry about that. We'll do pistons later. Solids, controller. Here we go. I think I need to do a new user control. Does it give an example so I can just copy the example? No. Hardware arm, the arm that will be controlled. Boolean string name. Speed, your... No, none of that's... Use... reference frame. Set a custom reference frame for your inputs. I don't remember how to do that. Spiders, thank you for giving me a distraction at the moment I needed it. Now, how do I do that? I don't remember how to do that. I think I'll just deal with it as it is. What I think I need to do is change these. I'm going to try these as -y. I think I've got them facing the same way. Let me just make sure do actually have them facing the same way. Yeah, both rotors are facing the same way, so they should both change at the same time. Okay, so yeah, that's moving more sensibly in relation to the truck. W is forward, D is backwards. Good. That's moving to the right. That's moving to the left. Good. I really shouldn't be in a rotating viewpoint while I'm doing this. I should put a controller on the truck if I'm going to stick with this control point for the moment. Up is going sensibly. E and Q are still confused. They don't know what to do. Because I haven't given them the control. So I should add the wrist control now. And I think I've got it mostly working. It's only working well enough. Down. Up. It's not terrible. Okay, I think if I can get this to a usable point, I'm happy. I am going to move the cockpit off the crane, though. Oh, actually, we'll leave it on there, and I'll just rename it. I'll make a new one. Oh, I think I can just leave the name, actually. I think I just have multiple. Oh, there's a piston head there. Let's move that. If I set up the home commands properly, yes, it should be able to properly stow itself and keep itself tidy and that sort of thing.
Storm inbound.
Alright, so we are up to C1, rotor C1, which is in the Z. Let's set it up. R4. New rotor. Z. Remote 1. Home. 0. S4, I think. New rotor. This is minus Y. So these orientations are all defined by the rotor's 0 points, which for mine was straight up. Mr. Colon. That could have been painful if I hadn't seen that then. And I actually saw it before I saw it. You guys telling me in chat. Thank you for letting me know. So I think we might need a... I think we... What did I do with that solid? Did I think I counted... I think the last solid I counted to was there. Because I went from this Y to this Y. Because that one doesn't matter. And then I need another solid from this one to the end effector. I think that's how that's working. So the tricky thing with figuring out the solids for this crane arm is you're trying to tell the script how long a distance it is between 2 points where it actually matters. So, for example, this rotor here doesn't actually matter whether it's here, 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 or here. It could be anywhere on that, and it won't change the way the arm functions. So the arm doesn't need to know where it is. It needs to know it's after this rotor, but that's all. So, but this one down here, this rotor here that I'm about to add in, it matters. So it needs to know where it is. Thanks, Kicking. Thank you for the Prime sub. The arm doesn't need to know where it is because it knows where it's not. Yes. S... No, why did I write S for? R5. And then after R5, we need the new solid. S4. New solid. More grid. So this is the bit that's in the little wrist section. You get more for regular subs or prime sub? Regular. No question. So for this one, if we're thinking straight up, this is going to be Z, and I probably want to tell it where the end is, not where the rotor is. So, because this is going to be the last defining solid. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. I think we'll go 3, maybe 2. I'm not sure I'll notice the difference. So 1, 2, 3 in the Z, and then also we're going to go in the... Oh no, this one's positive Y. I did this rotor backwards to the other ones, I think. Yep, I did. Okay. So we go... Actually no, it's all 0, it's fine, it doesn't do anything. No, I think it's just 3Z. Zero, comma, 0, comma, 3. There we go. Then last R6 equals new rotor. Rotor C3, axis. Ow! Ow! Ow!
Health low.
Whoa! 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 Aw! I missed. Yeah, got it. Yeah, got it. Oh, man. I don't like programming inside. I like being able to look at things and see. Da, 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 da. And get my health back. There we go. And eat some clang crunchies. And then get my health back again. Alright, so where was I up to? I was doing the last rotor. Now this one actually is positive Y. Axis is Z. I'm 0. And that should be the whole arm. So we've got S3 plus R4 plus R5 plus S4 plus R6. Okay. Well, it compiles, so I haven't done any syntax errors. Now let's put a cockpit onto my rover. It can be used for controlling the arm. Just for the moment, at least. It'd be nice to not have to have the camera spinning around while I'm doing this. Oh, and let's turn off all of that. Oh. Interesting. Wonder if that's disconnected anything. Here we go. We go forward. We go backwards. We move stuff with the mouse. We spin. I think some of the controls are still going to be a bit weird. But this is not bad. Check this out. And this is the power of MMOS. Like, you can just see exactly how much quicker this is going to make using a crane. Especially once I get the pistons added in, so I've got more reach. Like, this is going to be so much quicker with as a crane than any manual control. With a well set up crane for park, I think you can be quick. But this is quicker. Oh, the explosions could still come, but when I somehow try and push this through situations it doesn't want to, or it can't go. That's usually where I've exploded this, but I actually got this right much better than I expected. And this was the level I was hoping to get to with MMOS, was that level where you can set it up well enough to be like, to someone who knows what they're doing, hey, I got something that's kind of working. Can you see if you can figure out why it's not working? And give me, like, can you help me figure that out? Yeah. But prior to this, the level I was at was... Oh? I can't do any of this. We're going to increase torque because we have to, because it's a crane and it needs to be strong. Alright. Time to pick up a mission. Nope. Time to kill some spiders with cheese. Where you at? Where are you? Can I hear you but not see you? Yeah! There we go. Now we lose this silly hinge off the front. That's not needed anymore. Clean up my messes. I think I've pretty much done that. And... done. Let's go pick up a mission. Oh, what was that? Yeah, I shouldn't have hit that stupid park button on the cockpit. Thought it was a setting, not an actual, here's the button to park. I still have not welded those blocks, no. I'm still gonna do some... One of the reasons I haven't done a lot on the cockpit is because I haven't decided how to design the front of the truck yet. Keep looking at it going, oh, maybe this... No, that doesn't work. Oh, maybe this... No, that doesn't work. Alright, search contracts. Let's do a medium one. No, that's terrible pay. Let's do that one. That's better pay. 26,000. Arcadia this way. Let's go. Oh man. So some of you may have noticed that thanks to the Mission Improbable series, I now have a few plugins that I'm using, and I decided to add the third-person camera doesn't get messed up plugin. Wow, does it make driving with subgrids easier. Makes a huge difference. It's gonna hurt me when I don't have it. Why is this not vanilla? Yeah. It's kind of why it's one of the things that I'm desperately waiting for SE2 is a mod API. Not because I'll be able to use it, but because smart people will be able to use it. And then we'll get cool stuff. The very harsh limits on scripted mods in SE2 at the moment mean that, as in very harsh, that because I think it has to basically be done completely from scratch. Like I think there's the way you interface it is just all awkward, and there's every chance everything will break with every update. Barabaz, I'm not sure what a plugin tutorial would look like other than the text file for Pulsar. But also, there are some people who who disagree with the plugins entirely. And I can kind of see where they're coming from because we've got a very safe modding environment in SE that's very controlled through Steam or through mod.io. And it's a very safe one, whereas plugins are much more like modding other games where you're downloading DLLs and you're hoping that they're not doing something nefarious. And it is hope. So I don't really want to be I don't want to even be like, I don't want to be directly promoting something that I don't know or that I can't even have, that I have less confidence in from a safety perspective. I've decided that it's fine for me to use it because having the FOV plugin makes getting thumbnails so much easier. The efficiency gain there is huge for me because NVIDIA decided to break Ansel, which is the tool that I used for getting screenshots since it was first introduced many years ago. But NVIDIA have broken it over the last few years. Oh, that's an impressive landing. Is that? Oh, it's just locked to the... Oh. That's a problem. I might need to update these search things so that they don't have landing gear that lock, or that anyone can use the landing gear. Because this is locked to the ground. That means I'm going to have to grind it to unlock it from the ground. Because I don't have control over that lock. I think at the time that I set it up, I was thinking, oh, I should make these locked to the ground so they don't slide around if they spawn on a hill. Not thinking through this aspect of it. Drill it out to make it detach. That could work. I'm going to lock it so that it doesn't fall, though. Okay, I've got it. Let's get my drill from the thing at the front. Oh no, still got my drill on me. Nice. That worked. Hey. Check it out. I could probably get this to lock to me. And then that way. And then we come back this way. And then we drop down. And it's locked. Oh yeah. One of the cool things that you can do with an MMOS crane, which I would like to do at some point, is make one where I'm controlling it from the end point. So where I've got a cockpit that's actually at the end where the mag plate is, so you move things just like you've got a jetpack. Yeah, I don't need to unlock it because the contract should just delete it. Oh, need to lose that, it's ramp. There we go. Yeah, fortunately, the contract just makes it magically disappear, so that's why I figured I could use its locks to lock onto me. Drive it home relatively safely, because it's not going to be hanging on the end of the crane. Oh man, that crane is so good! A little like the Canary Welder. Exactly like the Canary Welder. Exactly. If I knew how to use MMOS when I was making that, I could have totally made it this way and had something that flew. Or like a grinder, a welder or a grinder arm is exactly the perfect use for it. Because what you don't want to use is that sort of control setup for a crane like this. Because if you do that, you need to have such high torques on the rotors that everything bounces and jiggles, and you don't want to be at the jiggly end. Being at the jiggly end is not fun. But for a grinder or welder, you know the exact mass that is going to have to within a decent tolerance. Because yeah, some components will end up in the tool, so it'll be a bit heavier for that. But for a welder, it wouldn't. But it'll be close enough that you can set the torques so that it has enough torque, but doesn't jiggle. And so you'd be able to have a perfectly smooth thing that you just fly around and you weld with this welder arm. And you could mount it on a truck, and then like for a Survival Impossible style thing where I don't have a jetpack, I'd be able to reach up and weld stuff and use Control G to place stuff and do all that without needing to use up any like power with the thruster. And that'd be really cool. And potentially quick enough and useful enough that, like, if you made it well enough, that you'd kind of be like, I've just engineered my way around a jetpack to a significant extent. Yeah, Cedric, I do have some plans for another tier of search and retrieve that might have delicate componentry to it. But I would want to have them as separate missions so you know what you're getting in for. I don't want a player to pick up one of these and not realize and then have it explode on them. Yeah, the pistons have to be large grid. Or you just have fixed arms. Because, as you can see, my arm here, those pistons aren't actually being used. And you can see the range that I've still managed to get with it. So you could get a fairly powerful arm just with fixed... like, with a fixed setup like I've got. That's impossible. You cannot do an asset retrieval mission. That's not a thing that Keen's setup allows. So, guess why my retrieval missions weren't working before? Because search missions cannot have subgrids at all. Not even a wheel. They can only have one grid. And I liked making mine out of vehicles. So if you're wondering why all of your search and retrieval missions have no wheels on them, that's why. Because I had to do it that way. Otherwise, it just didn't work. Whoops. I don't think it was an oversight. I think that was a deliberate decision to make their lives easier. Wheels are always a subgrid, as in, wheel suspensions. This wheel is a subgrid. It is a separate grid to the parent grid. The block wheels, they're just a block. Don't think of them as wheels, they're just, yeah. They're not wheels, they're just a block. That looks like a wheel. And happens to have a cylinder collider. Yeah, I actually got paid this properly this time. So that kind of leads me on to something that I was wanting to put forward as a build challenge for this coming week. So the last 2 weeks, people have been building houses, and we've had a few other things. I'm just bringing up the submissions channel. So we had, if we go back, bunch of houses that people have sent in, that sort of thing. I've started bringing them into my... I've brought most of them into my build world, and there are a few that are pretty much ready to get integrated, and there are others that I think I've got to rework to fit the Scrapyard style. But I've definitely got some that'll work. But because of this learning of the restriction for a single grid, what I really need now is fake vehicles. So I need ones that do not have real wheel suspensions, but rather have fake ones that are just wheels that are the wheel block. So where is it? This one. These wheels. Not the suspensions, these ones. So they look like a car, but they aren't actually a car. They can't move. Because then I can use those as our recovery targets. Now, it sounds simple, but it's actually quite tricky to get those vehicles to look good, because putting armor around the wheel, especially using 2x2s for smaller vehicles, which is what you probably want to use, is tricky. It's tricky to get it to look good. Oh, they don't go after the other engineers, just me? How sad. Alright, so I've almost got enough cash. I reckon let's do some salvage. Pick up some salvage missions. We got plenty of daylight. We got a crane that's functional. Are there any that are near? Let's see if there are any that are really close. Oh, 17Ks, that's not bad. 9Ks? Yeah, let's do those two. Really? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ah. I was quite stuck on that spider just then. Yeah, I'm ignoring the unknown salvage beacon because I've already been to all of those salvage. I am intentionally going to stuff that is new. Harley. Hey, Harley, stop clicking your foot. I need to watch where I'm going. Vehicles that show damage consistent with the wheels being taken off. Vermeer fan, you possibly could have a wheel suspension and then figure out a way to place a 3x3 wheel on, but that's only going to work for 3x3 wheels. Because 5x5s, the center of a 5x5 doesn't line up with the block, and for 2x2s, the center of the wheel doesn't line up with the block. So it'll only work for 3x3 suspensions, which a few of the vehicles have, but what I'd really like is I'd love for people to make some more compact vehicles. Little cars and things that can be set dressing for factories or homes or that sort of thing. Because those sorts of vehicles, we've got a pretty good looking 911, which I've used a bit, and we've got a couple, I think we've got a Reliant Robin that's not too big. But that's about it. There's not much else that's actually compact. And I think the trick to making an actually compact vehicle is don't try and make it with a cockpit. Don't try and make it actually function. And see how it goes. What is this? I don't remember this building. Oh, this is Wasteland Tire Thieves. That'd be why I don't recognize this building. It's not one of mine. I wonder if this was one... No, because have I not disabled their spawns? We haven't seen them around. I'm confused. Well, there's nothing actually useful in here. So I guess we will just move on. It's not a bad little house, but I was very confused. For more than a minute there. Yeah, I don't really need... I'm not really hurting for componentry, because I'm building everything in small grid. I am contemplating going and... I haven't had any unknown signals. Hang on, I'm gonna stop, and I'm gonna see if I need to enable unknown signals. Thought it would have just enabled itself. Because it does that. Yeah, it is enabled. Weird. But yeah, I'm thinking that I may well move towards actually making a base in this series in the coming weeks. Largely to allow me to interact with the scrapyard as I have been, but I'm not going to allow myself to rest through the night except for paying for it. One time they haven't enabled themselves would be crazy. Yeah, it would be unlikely. I do kind of want to build like a mobile base, but I also kind of... I don't know. I'm sort of setting up a like a mobile camp right now, I guess. I've just been thinking about it just because I don't want to... There was some things that I wanted to test, like, can I occupy a structure? Does it get deleted when I finish the mission? That sort of thing. Because I'm a little bit worried that that might be what happens with the salvage contracts. Which is going to suck, but is something I just can't... I have no way of fixing. I hope is if you take ownership of the PCU, it won't get deleted, but I'm a little bit worried that it will. Let's see what I find this time. Well, I mean, now that I've got a crane, my capacity for expansion has increased. I've just got to find the right blocks. I've got to, well, go bigger. With the limitation regarding the said search and retrieval missions, maybe people could start building designs of specific landers, impacted debris, crash satellites, based on IRL ones or ones they come up with some being drones that still fly around slowly. Definitely not having stuff that flies around. No. One, it's impossible. And just, yeah, don't want to have stuff moving around. So yeah, impacted debris and stuff like that, but I really want to... Oh, this is perfect. This is exactly the vehicle I needed to articulate my point. This is ideal. All right, let me just repair something on this. Okay. Oh man, this cough, sorry, one sec. So, speaking of vehicles that look like vehicles and don't have functional wheels, this one doesn't even have functional seats. Ah, there we go. Oh! Okay, so this has fake seats. Fake wheels, fake everything. It is pretty much just entirely armor. This is the sort of size of thing that I'm imagining I would love people to make. Because this size of thing, when you see the engineer standing beside it, although I'm currently weirdly crouching, just imagine my legs are straight. It doesn't look too weird. The size is about right. It's going to be still a bit too big, because it's SE and we've got 50 centimeter grids and we've got 1 meter sized wheels. But you can kind of accept that this is a smallish vehicle. So, I think it's a perfect encapsulation of what you can do with just armor blocks to make something look like a smaller vehicle. And this is what I'd really love to see if some people can do better than I can, because I've tried and I've struggled. I don't want more pickups. We got heaps of utes. I want cars. What's the beeping? Oh, that's the remote control blocks. But I have to find the mission objective on this. Let's check. Nope. Nope. Oh man, where is it? Where is it gonna be? Yeah, so the cooperative takeover mod will beep telling you that there's a remote control on a hostile grid nearby. And it helps you locate it through kind of sort of warmer, colder sort of thing. Ah, storage bins. These could be where it is. Thanks, Psycho Wolf. Thank you for 16 months. Oh. Ow. Just for that, you get the cheese. Whoa. I haven't found any grinders. Kayla? How can I make grinders if I can't find them? Look. Tool construction frame. Tool construction frame. Right. Back to the front. See if I can find the things and things. Oh, found some food. Hey, got it. Alright, let's tear this thing apart. This is a cool, Oh, access denied? I'm gonna have to try and fix that. This is actually a functional tow truck. Which is really cool. I will be right back. I'm gonna take a quick stretch break. And pause the game. I just went outside my shed, and holy cow, it is foggy as. I reckon I can see about 30 meters? Which is very foggy for here. Yeah, I don't need heat vents. This is when I discover some random stuff that's put in here. I don't think I'm going to need oxygen tanks, so I'll just grind them down. Now, I don't think I care about sci-fi hydrogen engines either. But for those of you who like the idea of using them, this is one grid that has them. Do I need event controllers? I don't think I need event controllers right now either. Maybe I'll take one. Hey, it stopped the beeping. Oh, hydrogen tank. Oh. Whoops. Can I even get this out of there? Oh yeah? Oh wait, I've got two H2 gens. I don't need to do this anymore. I can just find ice. Maybe. Did I know where some ice was? I did find some ice at some point. Do I have much ice? Oh. Maybe I should still do this. I haven't got any actual drainage points set up at the moment, though. H2 is still free. Yeah. It's like 20 kilowatt hours of H2. Which I know is a strange way to define it, but it works for me. Let's have a look. What could I do to make it a nice spot to empty these? Okay, so I've got those going up. That doesn't help me then. So maybe we'll go opposite the cheese. And I'll put it up here. Go with curvy. Then we need a connector. Like so. Yeah, the modular cargo container does have a down-facing port, but the down-facing port is quite low, so I didn't want to touch it. So I thought I'd go high with this one. And then I need some buttons. Tank, empty, connector. Switch lock. Ah! No. Come on. I did go near a pole, didn't I? That's right. I did go near a pole. That's how I got a little bit of ice. I couldn't remember if I went near a pole or near a mountain originally, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I went near a pole. Yes. Cheese one side, gas the other, and my truck is now lactose intolerant. And now we need to increase the strength on this connector. Make connectors on these. Oh. Hang on. I need another button. Just realized it'd be nice to have a button here that sets the tanks to refill. Or stockpiles, I should say. Stockpile on off. So then I can go like this. Grab you. Thanks, Shaggy. Thank you for 41 months. Get it lined up. There we go. Then I lock it. And then I empty it. Yeah. I'm trying to do better at this. It was said in a couple of comments a while back. Hey, why do you use build vision so much? Why not use actual physicalized buttons? It'd be more fun. And I can't remember how I replied to it at the time, but it was one of those ideas that kind of stuck in my head. And I was like, actually, yeah, why don't I do that more? It's more fun. And so I've been trying to get better at using physicalized, like actual buttons. I'm still really bad. Oh, we got to strengthen that. You have a timer, you could set it up to auto lock. That's true. That could probably work better. Because then I don't have to mess with setting the strength higher. Or set up an event controller to lock when ready. That's probably a better plan. Yeah. Let's do that. There's an event controller over here. Oh. Check this out. This is something new for you guys. Let's go to full. Have a look what's written on the right-hand side. Scrapyard, small battery. A battery so bad, it's not worth your trouble. No. It has a maximum output of 100 kilowatts. It has a maximum stored power of just 20 kilowatt hours. That's 40% of a standard tiny battery. And it contains 10 power cells, which will all grind to scrap if you grind them. So it's heavier. So yeah, I made that. There's also a large grid scrapyard battery, which is similarly bad. It's actually worse. The large grid one is even worse. Like the large grid one is, oh, it's awful. You don't want to be digging around for those. It's not worth your time. Have I got enough computers to use a weld pad? I think I do. Especially after those pistons that I just picked up. Hmm? Why did that not... I swear I owned that. Weird. So it's basically only good as a forklift counterweight battery. I mean, it could be useful for that, yeah. But it is not a battery. Why is this an NPC-owned grid? Oh, I need to do the take over the grid thing, the vanilla thing. That's right. Okay, so tank empty, event controller, event, connector ready / idle, tank empty connector, select actions. When ready, lock. Oi. Empty. Let's get that other tank and see if this works nicer. Yeah, Shogun, I keep forgetting to install that mod. I'm bad. Ah, I really should. Although I'm partial to testing, like finding the issues for people who won't be able to run such a mod. Oop. Alright, so switch lock. You're empty now. Now I haven't strengthened this connector this time. So let's see how this goes. It's locked. It's draining. It's drained. Unlock. Stockpile off. Yeah, that's better. I want an indicator light though. And we need an indicator light. This reduce its radius right down. How am I going to make that work? Because there's no event for stockpile on, stockpile off. So I'll need to just make a time. I'll have to get a timer block. To do that. Have I got a timer block in the back? You are a timer block. Uh-oh. What? Yeah, grinder pit mightn't be too bad. Oh, sorry, one sec.
Meteor storm inbound.
Oh, something I wanted to bring up about the Scrapyard submissions. I've had a few submissions that have had sound blocks on. Please don't do that. I've also had a few submissions that have had the text-to-image converter LCDs. Please also don't do that. The reason for the sound blocks is I plan to do Scrapyard edited series, and having music or any sound, particularly music, that is playing means I can't edit around it. It's really annoying. And the reason for the no text-to-image LCDs is that they are a performance hog for the output that they give, as far as I understand it. An EC that when the connector is connected, put the tanks on stockpile and vice versa. Oh yeah, that's probably a better way to do it. Have I got another event controller around here? Yeah. Using sound blocks for style, absolutely fine. Just don't put music on them. Don't put sounds on them. That's an event controller there, isn't it? Yeah. Good, we can get rid of that. Get rid of the last one of those. I like doing this stuff. I actually, to say more accurately, I'm not sure I like doing this stuff. I like the end result of these things more than the actual doing. Oh. Rolled under. Oh, that's the only one. Like these little things that just make your life easier. If I could get my head around the idea that I should do them at the beginning, oh man. It would be so much better. Because I'd just do them once, and then it'd be like, oh yeah, this thing just works. This is really nice. This is... But I don't. So when connected, stockpile on. When disconnected, stockpile off. There we go. So that should all just work now. I don't have to do anything. I don't even need the buttons. Well, I need the unlock button. So we'll get rid of the stockpile button. Get rid of the indicator light, because I'm not doing that anyway. Yeah. I think I've got most of the good stuff from here. Jeez, this truck is rich with large steel tubes. I think that's all pretty much all the good stuff. Let's go. On to the next scrap. So glad I have auto ramp pickup. I need to unlock just scrolling it down. Yeah, but I like unlocking it. Yeah, there is something really satisfying about having things set up to be efficient. And there's something so difficult for me about putting in the effort to do that until I've been annoyed by it, having done it repeatedly. So, you know, you do something 20 times and it then finally builds up enough irritation in you that then you go and do the thing that's efficient and then do it 2 more times and then you're done. Would have been better if I felt that irritation and decided to do the thing properly the first time, so that all of the 22 times could have been done the best way. But I'm just not like that, and I don't know how to change. Oh, hey, Frosty. How's it going? The arm is functional. The controls are a little bit awkward. I'm not 100% sure which bit I've done slightly wrong, but it's only slightly wrong. So there's nothing... Like, I managed to pick up some stuff and move it quite well. I'm pretty pleased. So your tutorial, your teaching session was very useful. That even though it's been more than a week since you taught me, I still managed to remember it. Plus, I had your M20 arm thing up on the other screen to remind me, so that I had a cheat sheet. I feel like, Shadow, that might be a turn of phrase that I'm not familiar with, but yeah, kinda. I need to just... I need to feel like the level of frustration that I have from doing something manually has reached a height such that the level of frustration I feel doing it properly is now outweighed by it. Oh no, I didn't bring up your actual cheat sheet, Frosty. I just needed it was mainly the syntax reminders that I needed. Excuse me, sorry, didn't reach the mute key in time for that one. Oh, but I'm so pleased at how it's worked. The thing that I couldn't remember how to do was to set up the control point. So I might try and do it so that I can control it. That's why I've got 3 cockpits. If anyone came in late and was like, why does Splitsy have 3 cockpits? It's because the one on the crane isn't actually where the crane controls from, so it's a bit weird to use. So I use the second one on the bed as my control point. Go! That was violent. Ooh! We haven't seen this one in game yet. Hello, school bus. North American school bus. So, you'll find these beacons. I need to change that out to a scrap battery. You'll find these beacons at these sorts of locations. It will guarantee you get a small grid timer. No big deal. And a guarantee you get a small grid beacon. No big deal. That's fine. You can have those. It gets you a couple of computers. Nothing too special. The reason for these is that if I didn't put any sort of marker on these random locations, you'd never find them. Like, they'd actually be impossible to find. Pretty much. So, I'm imagining my headcanon for these is that someone has marked this location and then that someone has disappeared and not been able to come back. And so now it's your loot. And also, if you're wondering why the road surface isn't perfectly flat here, Blame Keen's spawning system that uses the grid in the prefab with the most blocks, not the grid in the prefab that can be defined by the person designing the prefab. So the bus has over 700 blocks. The road does not. So the bus defines the orientation. So it's always going to be a little bit crooked, but hopefully it's not too bad. I'm gonna take these flat modes. Because these are in my proper setup. Hopefully that wasn't too much, too much behind the scenes for some people. There are a few things like that that I feel like I need to explain so that people know what's going on. And so you can be like, oh, that's not a bug, that's a feature. Because there's not actually anything Splitsy can do about it. So, school buses around here look like buses. They're just buses. They're just buses that have on the front, instead of this is the route that we're doing, it says school bus. Why haven't a purpose designed vehicle for something that you've already got vehicles for? Some private schools have their own buses. Oh, it's getting dark. I gotta get out of here then. Some private schools have their own, like, buses, and, out where my sister lives in the country, a lot of the buses will be coaches, just because they go further. And that's the sort of bus that's out there. Oh, well, we don't have public transport. There is that, yes. But yeah, it's, Oh. We're getting tire thieves back. Excellent. Okay, that's gonna spice things up a bit more. And I think, like, most buses, most schools that I know of around here would have, would hire a bus from a busing company if they need a bus for a day, like for a thing. But some of the bigger schools will have a minibus. Like my high school had a minibus that some of the teachers were able to drive. Do I have enough money to sleep the night? Ooh, I have to find this thing in here. Oh, it's another small grid. Okay. I don't need that tank. I do kind of want that battery, though. Oh, there are so many cargo containers. Why are there so many cargo containers on the thing that I need to find stuff quickly? You're kidding me. You are kidding me. There are that many cargo containers, and I managed to open the right one first? That is, unexpected. Huh. Alright, let's cut this out.
Inventory full.
I don't get to control where those things spawn. I don't actually have a say in it. It's random, and so is the loot that's in these things. I randomized it. That's awesome. Did I lose the cheese wheel? Please don't tell me I left my cheese wheel. I'm gonna have to make a new cheese wheel if I lost if I lost it. No, we're not taking the expired slop. Okay, do I have a basic grinder of any sort so I can hack that? So I need to hack it. I have it. Yep, that'll do. It's the best I got. See if I lose any power cells doing this. Yep. Thought I would. Need the basic grinder. Or I needed to have, like, played a shuffling game, putting stuff in and out. There we go. Let's get a control panel. Make that grid mine, and then let's get home and stay the night, because it's about to get stormy. Now I wanted this because this is a fully charged battery. Oh, I also, I did reduce the strength of my grabby hands a little bit again. And yet I can still carry a battery. So I think I'm getting close to the point where I'm happy with the grabby hand strength. Like where you can kind of lift this up, but it's not easy. So I think that'll be the sweet spot. That's out of the way of the tail ramp, mostly. Alright, I'm getting out of here. I gotta go home. I've got 17 Ks to travel. And that sun is low. Very low. Daz, I don't want the hack line above the power cells. I don't want it. I like that you have to play a hacking game, and that I give you enough power cells in the loot that if you suck at the hacking game, you can still get your batteries. The hacking game is just a nice little bonus for those who can do it, and who remember to keep the basic grinder. The nice thing about the economy stuff, the nice thing about having loot in all of the in a lot of the containers, is you will find stuff to be able to make up for any, like if you've got motor issues that mean that actually controlling that and doing that is hard. But also, if that's really not something that you can do, there was someone who made a mod to change that, so the batteries are easily hackable. And that I think is the better solution. I think having I kind of see it as an accessibility option rather than a default experience sort of thing. So I think having an accessibility option for that is great. If I was better at modding and could throw something like that together quickly, I would totally do it. But it's one of those things that would take me a lot of time to do. Last time the night storms were broken, did it get fixed? Yes, it did. Yes, yes, yes. I don't have any lights on the truck. There are no lights on this truck. This truck's a daylight truck. Who has the money for lights? Huh. No, I literally don't have any lights on this truck. Oh wait, I do. I forgot about those. I did put lights on this truck. I was so fancy, I forgot. Oh no, hill! Yeah. Oh man. Do I have any food? Alright, we got some food paste. Delicious. Lights in this economy overhaul? Yep. Frustrating cough. My voice is feeling much closer to normal than it has for a couple of weeks now, which is great. For those of you worried about this cough, I went and saw my local doctor last week. I've started on some new meds for my asthma to see if I can take higher doses of those without it messing up my voice, because the previous preventer I was on was making my voice go funny. I think I sounded a bit like this when I went, but I can't really imitate the sound that it did because it just messed up my vocal cords in a really weird way. So I couldn't take enough of a dose for my lungs to deal with all of the nursery nurgles that Toby keeps bringing home.
fat, I'm just big boned.
I think that's Cartman voice closer, isn't it? Yeah, it's there. There are some upsides to. I think that the doctors that I go to, they're just nice anyway. But also, as an added bonus, my partner is good friends with the wife of the owner of the practice. So if I ever get really stuck, I've got options. Plus, you know, what my job used to be. Helps too. Although, it does do the whole, I just look after myself, it's fine. Yeah, Toby's, I mean, I don't even think Toby's to blame for this latest illness. I think my partner brought it home and got him sick, and then he gave it to me. Did I keep both of the mission things in my inventory? Yes, good. Fun for the whole family. Yeah. Am I a good patient? Yeah. I mean, I'm a good enough patient that my sister still happily helps me with things. I don't do my my recommended exercises quite as often as I should do them, but I do them. And it looks like I'm making it home in time for now. Which is good, because this was actually cutting it, I think, pretty close. That sky is getting dark. Yes, baby shark, you do. And yes, I would also agree that, well, for a lot of people, an unborn baby will be the largest parasite they ever carry. Accepted contracts. Let's complete. Finish. Confirm. Finish. Confirm. Did I get enough money? Yes. Cutting it close. You were in a thunderstorm. Uh-oh. Okay. Withdraw. Leave the money on the table. Don't walk away from me, I'm paying you. For the night. I gotta go find a bed. Ah! Oh, that's not where I want. I want it outside so I can see what happens as the night goes. There we go. It's morning. Survived another night. And this is all just an excuse for me to keep running the missions, because that's the stuff I've been working on for the mod. Funny how that works out. Alright, what contracts have we got? We got any close salvage? Let's check that first. 81, 100, 55, 73, 62, 114, 67, 68. No. But listings will update in less than a minute. Babies aren't biologically parasites because they're the same species. I mean, if you're going to get technically about it, sure. But, I mean, in every other way, apart from being the same species, although... Anything worth buying? So... Ammo? I could buy some meal packs, but I've got 313 credits. That's all I got. I'm poor. Staying the night is expensive. And now we go. New listings. Let's check salvage if there's any close. There's an 11. Excellent. Oh, no other close ones today. That's disappointing. Alright, so let's go get a pair of search contracts. We got 19... Ooh, we got a 33. Let's take that. And we'll go with the 19,000. Do 2 of them. I don't think doing more than 2 is a great idea. Opposite directions. How rude. Make it so you have to use credits to use the survival kit. No, thanks. Oh, given to rant, that sounds like a horrible study to be part of. A uni lecturer was a volunteer in a study looking at the effects of having a worm. Important information, but I mean, arguably cheaper than some of the weight loss drugs, I imagine, and probably got paid for it, so... Not a good way to do it, because you'd lose so much muscle mass. You're very sick. He loved it, yeah. Because that is the issue with some of those medications as well. The GLP-1 ones. People tend to lose a lot of muscle mass, which is not good. Now, what am I going to have to pick up in these 2 things? Where am I going to shove them? Oh, no. Oh no. This is really near a hill. Please don't be up the hill. Oh, there it is. In behind that tree. Oh, we got another hot dog cart. Do you have an auto landing gear? No. So... Not my best parking job there. Oh, no. 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 Let me through. Let me try that. Yeah. There we go. So I was thinking... And I would put some landing gear up here. One there. One there. Should be able to pick up the 2 contracts. And run them home. Yeah, they'll cover the solar. It's not a big deal. Alright, Spider, where are you? Oi! Interesting. Oh. Got it. Okay, here we go. Let's pick up. I don't know why the hot dog stand keeps being on its side, but... Oh. It's fine. Man, I love this crane! Hey, locked. Correct. The pistons are not configured. I figured I would just get something working and then later we'll add the pistons in. Oh. What do we have over here? Lots of industrial stuff. Is there anything jumping out at me as something I should rush to? No. Might just check in this building though. So there might be something good. And there's a solar panel there. Now I don't want the large grid solar panels, but I'll take that power cell. Take those. Nothing in that. I think this solar panel has nothing in it from memory. So I think we've been to a few of these before. Let's check it though. Yeah, nothing in it. Alright, away we go. Can't wait for Space Engineers 2 Scrapyard. Oh, I think we'll be waiting a while for that one. Just because they need to give us a few things before it's possible. But yeah, Scrapyard, a Scrapyard style play in SE2. Well, one, you have to be able to take over grids, which you still can't do in Scrapyard, in Space Engineers 2. So that needs to happen. And two, we need a mod API to actually have someone like a clever person actually make the MES style spawner. But yeah, there are lots of things about SE2 that would make Scrapyard work better. The big one being everything can be a static grid. There is no small grid, there is no large grid, it's just grid. And that means that we don't have the issues of small grids intersecting with voxel and the game going, no! No, you will not do this. This is not okay. Ooh. I am really happy with the progress I've been making in the Scrapyard mod, though. I'm pretty close that I might start doing some, like, small little hosting of some testing for some other people, and then if that goes well, it'll be about then balancing and adding all the extra grids in. Now, there was a shed here, but there's also probably some fences here. And when I say close, that could be any time frame, because who knows what could come up in the interim. It's closer than it was yesterday. Survival kit. Just making sure there wasn't a gun. Yeah. I don't care for you. Not interested. In the Escape from Mars scenario, have small grid mines inside voxels. Yes. And that's fine until the player gets close, and then it's very much not fine. But when you're talking about a mine, it doesn't actually matter. It can be, a mine can explode when the player gets close. Whether that happens because of the warhead or because it's a small grid inside voxel doesn't actually matter. But also, one of the things you used to do in Escape from Mars was there were tiny little reactors embedded in the voxel with a light on them so that there could be lights along the voxel area, and that was a great way to get lots of little bits of uranium. See you, Shadow. Have a good one. What I've discovered in my spawning of various test things while making this is that you can have small grids in voxels, and the game is kind of mostly okay with it. But there are two things that seem to make it go, no, I'm not okay anymore. No, 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 no. One of them is put a subgrid on that grid that you've got embedded in voxel. So have a hinge, rotor, piston, or wheel. And then it's just like, nah. Nah. I'm not happy with this. I'm not okay with this. This is not acceptable. Or start trying to move the voxel boundary through the grid. So what I mean by that is start digging it out. When you start doing that, then it's like, what? Wait, hang on. I'm checking now. No, I'm checking. This is not okay. No. Now that I'm checking this, I'm not okay with this. When I wasn't checking and and it was invisible to me, I'm okay. But now that you've showed me that this thing exists, I'm not okay with this. This is a lot bigger. I need to try and somehow get it a bit more midline. I love this crane. I think that's still not locked. No. Phantom forces. Gotta love them. Yeah, I see you, Reggie, telling me I gotta stretch again. Oh. Okay. 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 Okay.
Meteor storm inbound.
That's not happy. Might just leave this one on the crane. My hope with what I've... Excuse me, one sec. My hope with what I've shown off of the crane setup here is that a few more people will try and make MMOS cranes now. That a few more people will feel confident to give it a go. I don't think I've shown off enough for everyone to feel confident, but maybe a few more people will be like, okay, Splitsy can do it, I can do it. But what I'm really happy about is now I get the chance to design some small vehicles with cranes that are set up with... My thinking is to do a few different ones to be sold on at the shop, at the trading station. So there'll be a little vehicle with an MMOS crane, there'll be a little vehicle with a park crane, there'll be a little vehicle with a custom turret controller crane / forklift, and building those vehicles will be fun, because I want to make something that works, and works well, but is maybe a bit too small and maybe isn't quite as big as you would want long term, but will at least give people a leg up if they struggle to design it themselves. And obviously need to have custom turret controller based ones because scripts and not everyone can use them. And if I've provided people with an MMOS crane that they can buy, maybe they'll use that as an example of how to learn it as well. Same way that I've used Frosty's M20 arm that we've used in Combined Arms for that exact purpose. I used his as a reference to start learning. Let's not go that quickly over the next hill. That was sketchy. But yeah, I think having some really simple designs and some more complex designs, I might even... I don't think I'll want submissions, but I might ask Frosty for a couple of his examples that he actually used in Scrapyard that were shown off in the original series. Simplified, like, pared down versions of them, because I think that'd be cool to have. But I'd like to design some myself as well, just because it'd be great practice for me. You're already working on an M15 version for Scrapyard. Oh, sweet, Frosty, that's awesome. Because yeah, if there's... So I think I've got ideas on how to make... Like, if you want to buy a crane that's just, it does everything, I don't think I want to stop you from buying that. I just want to make you work for it. At least a little bit. And because any vehicle you buy that's from the trade stations is going to contain batteries or engines or other blocks that require my special components, and I can set the price for my special components, I can probably to some reasonable extent, dictate the price of these vehicles just by putting more or less of those blocks on there. Which I think would be... I think it's going to be an interesting and complex challenge to figure out how to balance that cost against the rewards you get from the missions. Alrighty. I'm going to park here. I'm going to do a quick stretch. I'll be right back. Oh, it's a pity that having lots of subgrids is not ideal from a performance perspective. Because what would be really quite cool would be if one of these spawns, the ones that potentially have like crane builds and stuff in them, had actually functional cranes set up ready to go. So that was kind of a base that's kind of almost coveted because you get a crane that's just ready to go and you can use to offload your truck and do things with. But I'm always hesitant to put too many in just for the risk that it clangs out and then destroys server performance or someone's local game performance and becomes a pain to figure out the source of. That's the big reason why I don't tend to add many subgrids, and there are so many subgrids in this anyway because of wheels. Hey, there we go. Did someone ask what Combined Arm was? And I missed it. If they did. Combined Arms is a year-long, so far, series that I've been running with Captain Shaq here on Twitch, and all the VODs of which are over on my Flipsy YouTube channel. And we were going to celebrate our 1-year birthday of the series, yes, last week, but his ISP decided, nah, you don't need to have your connection. we're just going to disconnect you for no particular reason at all. We're going to think you're someone else and disconnect you instead. High quality ISPing there. There's one that was 21 k's away, that's close enough. Oh, what was the time frame on that? 8 minutes 30. Nah, not going to get another refresh. So we're going to do a... We're going to have the belated birthday tomorrow. And if you're worried about it being a year old and not knowing what's going on, don't worry. You can join in on that series at any point in time, because it's mostly just the two of us doing a podcast while sort of playing SE. And I mean that in a good way, I think. Now let's go see what's at this one. The issue, Daz, of a crane setup is that it need to be a large grid crane, and to make a large grid crane do anything that's particularly useful, you tend to need to add a fair few pistons in. If we had longer pistons, you could probably do fewer subgrids. Yeah, tomorrow we should be hitting the button to start the war. Because the whole scenario changed once we'd actually started the series, so we thought we were going to be doing much more fighting than we actually ended up doing. And that was a good thing, because we got to build some really cool stuff. Some of which will eventually make it into Scrapyard, because I'm planning on including my unnecessarily subgridded cement mixer in Scrapyard, because it's actually, weirdly enough, to the scale that I've decided for Scrapyard, which is cool. So I'm going to try, hopefully get something... So I'm thinking with the truck, much as my cockpit is currently supported on a thin line of unwelded armor, I kinda think I should be thinking about the next expansion of the truck, not settling with this size, because this size works for now, but I can't take any large grid stuff. Should I be thinking large grid rover now? And instead of making a base at the trade station, I make a large grid rover while I'm going back and forth from it. Alright, that's the Wasteland Tire Thief's house that I found before. Because I could start planning out a large grid rover there, hoping that I can do enough search contracts and things like that to pay for a night's rest. But I think every night I have a large grid rover there that's under construction, they charge me more for staying there. So I'm basically paying rent for the space to put the large grid rover down. So I have to get it done quickly / do enough search missions to pay for it. I think that feels like a fair compromise. No, not going a wrong cone, no. Might try and do some sort of road train design, though. Oh, that's a lot of air. Ooh, that's too much air. What's over here? Oh. We have... Ah. So, as I was talking about earlier, the scale of the smaller builds, and then the scale of this build. It looks so good when you stand back this far from it, that I find it really hard to turn down this, but to not include this, but I might change that in the future. It is the Uber bug, yeah. It is a very cool build, though. It's just scale... The scale's a bit big. Well, the storm effect grids that aren't in your vicinity. I don't believe so, no. So if I had to, I could leave the large grid and drive around the planet do a circumnavigation, come back, and it should still be there. But there's a part of me for building a large grid rover that kind of wants to do a large grid rover with small grid wheels. Found your large rover. Like, do some giant platform that's moves on, like, independent suspension mounted wheel, small grid bogies. I think I'd end up destroying that, so I probably need to go large grid bogies for that sort of design. But, yeah. It's the buggers of the cockpit and Mad Max a train onto it. Alright. Have we seen this spawn before? I don't think we have. Got a truck with some fuel in it. Excellent. Anything? Stack barrels don't have anything in it. Oh! Huh. Today I learned those barrels have grids in them. I will have to keep that in mind. So that one's dead. That one's dead, and this other one's dead too, yeah. Alright, so it's just this one. Now let's do our first automated emptying since the setup. No, let's cheese a spider. Ah. Yeah, let me pick up the cheese. Ooh. So this building and the grids here, the building was a design I made. This was a design that UFOL made, and this was a design that Rush made, the truck. I was pretty pleased with this building. I was imagining 7 Days to Die when I made it, and I think I got that aesthetic pretty close. An ant spider was confused. Yes. Yes, the ant spiders do tend to be confused. So good. Glad you guys convinced me to do this. So much better. Now, is there anything else here? I've got the mission objective. I don't need the wind turbine. Anything new? No. Nothing in there. Thanks, James. Thank you for 40 months. Oh, and thank you, Corbin Dallas. Thank you for the tier 3 for 32 months that I somehow missed an hour ago. My apologies. Thank you very much. And thank you, Shaggy, for the 41 months. I think I missed Psycho Wolf as well. 16 months. And Kicking for the Prime sub. What was I doing? Was this... No, that... I'd already done the... I don't know what's going on. Who knows? I don't need those batteries. We'll grab the power cell from the engine. There's a second engine there that doesn't have a power cell, so that's all the good stuff. Sweet. Oh, one of the things I do want to do that I haven't done yet is add special turbine parts to the turbines. So that just like the solar panels, you need to find the bits to make one work. Because wind turbines in Scrapyard, kinda OP. They're kind of just a bit too good. And so I wanted to make them a bit more balanced against solar panels. So I've made solar panels much more present. You'll be able to find a lot more solar panels in the latest, in the grids that I've set up so far. And wind turbines will be much more rare. But also you'll have to find wind turbine parts to construct them. There's not really any there's not a lot of value to me in reducing the output of a wind turbine. Because they are constant producers and therefore always just good to have. I mean, in Scrapyard, yeah, you could potentially reduce it a bit, but I think because you can't just spam them. But I think I'd rather make it so that they're still good, but now they're special and good. So you're like, oh, I finally got a wind turbine, yes! Now I don't need, now that I've got my solar array and my wind turbines, I'm set for power. Because in Scrapyard, the power you use is your vehicles. That's it. Maybe an O2H2 gen once you're trying to build something to go to space. But until then, it's your vehicles. So it's the power usage is tiny compared to vanilla. But I mean, if people are masochists, you can always add a mod, probably, that reduces the wind output. Or play on a planet that has reduced wind output. Because you can do that at the planet level as well. To some extent. But yeah, I felt like, especially in the scrapping that I've done in this series, I felt like the Atmo thrusters were way too abundant. Like I could be flying right now. I could be, I'm just choosing not to. And I didn't want that to be the way this was. I wanted getting a flyer to feel special. I get that some people want to be able to fly sooner, but that's not the intention of Scrapyard. If you're wanting to do things sooner, that's what Vanilla's for. Scrapyard's meant to slow you down so that everything feels like you earned it. And I didn't feel like I earned those two large thrusters that are on the back here. Oh, that's not right. Kinda late, but did we talk about the trees getting revenge on you and your SE2 rover? No. I haven't actually talked about that at all. I think the trees got revenge. I think the tree clanged out on the wheel? Because the wheel was moving really quickly? Something like that? I'm wondering if a bumper will help. I mean, it could just be that it's still really unstable and there are like 10,000 different sources for that particular issue. I don't know. Could be the trees doing it, could be the wheels doing it, could just be the implementation of Havoc doing it. I don't know. If it happens a lot, that will get annoying. If it happens once and then in that first recording and then I don't see it for a couple more recordings, it's probably not a big deal. To me, anyway. But if it's happening every single recording or happening multiple times a recording, yeah. Yeah, it's not great. I mean, every physics, every game with an that uses a physics engine and pushes it ends up with these weird things happening. Space Engineers, Gary's Mod, Kerbal Space Program. They've all got their weirdnesses that happen when you mess around with stuff. After seeing your video, I spent way too much time thinking about whether SE2 needs a chainsaw tool. Well, I mean, the grinder should have worked against the trees. It's meant to. I don't know why it didn't. I don't know why I couldn't grind down the trees. So what is that? Oh, that's the top of a tree. Saw that little spiky brown thing off to the left there and thought it was some sort of building. Oh, what's over here? Ah. Oh, come on. We have a plane crash, I think. Yep. One plane crash. Do I need more event controllers? Because I think there are some up in the cockpit. In fact, there's one right there. There we go. Yep, sat into the Beriev. There's those two. Yeah, there's a thruster on the wing. I'm not going to grab that thruster, though. I've grabbed two of them already. I want to wait on getting more thrusters because I want to see how the balance feels with less of them. If I grab them all now, some of you might be happy about this, I would have to do a whole new series to test that. But I kind of want to do some testing in this series as well of that particular limitation. Why did I do that? I have access inside on the trailer. Oh. There we go. Done. That'll probably do. But yeah, that's why I'm leaving the thrusters, and I've been ignoring them a bit. It's... much as I should be going, yeah, thrusters, yeah, let's do it. They're too common. They are too common a sight in my existing MES spawns, so in his time, so I'm kind of just going to let them go. I'm also thinking we will not grab all those timer blocks and things. I'm just going to move on. Grab the parts to repair the ones you have. I think I've already got the parts to repair the ones I have. I think I've already got more than enough bits. But yeah, it's... I want them to feel special, and right now, I don't feel like they are. That's why I hope next week Next week, I'm hoping to have the MES stuff set up a little bit with the new things. So all of the old spawns taken out and new ones put in. Which will mean this will be the last time you'll see this truck. Because it was the best I could do at the time, but I can definitely... people have definitely sent in better trucks, and I can build better trucks now. No, that one's being retired. Yeah, I'm hoping to get the MES spawn stuff started next week. Because it would be really nice to have all of the grids that we run into here be new stuff. Stuff that you guys will... Stuff that's not like, oh yeah, I've seen this. He's collected that 3,000 times before. Oh, there's another one of those cheeky wasteland tire thieves. I'm not going near you. No, don't you go making retired puns. I don't think I need to claim those grids, because those are MES ones. Rather than vanilla ones. Although, that's possibly going to change. One of the things that I want to do, I'm not sure if it's going to break stuff. I hope it doesn't. But I'm thinking of getting rid of the scrap faction and using the unknown faction instead. So that it doesn't mess with faction standings with other factions. Because I think there could be advantages to it. My worry is that it might mess with the available PCU for that faction in some way, but I'm hopeful that that's okay. I'm hopeful it'll still work. That's what this testing's about. Trying these things and realizing that I've actually made a terrible, terrible decision and I need to backtrack, or trying them and being like, yeah, that works really well. Alright, keep an eye on that. Yes, if the melee vehicle starts appearing on my HUD and gets closer, if they're chasing me, that's something I need to keep an eye on. I am moving at 70 meters a second, so I don't think I'm in too much trouble. I'm at a bigger risk from my own driving, to be honest. So the worry I have with making them part of the unknown faction is that we'll run into that problem that we had last time, sorry, because it was 2 weeks ago. So I was sick last week. Last time, where some of the spawns just didn't appear. And I think part of the reason some of the spawns just didn't appear was because I'd collected so many missions at once, and the missions didn't delete themselves until I got back to the station to turn them in. But if MES is also spawning into that same faction, is that going to create so many grids that when you turn up to these salvage sites, stuff just won't appear? I don't know. Something to find out. It's fortunately a relatively easy change to do and then undo. So I can do it and see what happens. Come on, be something I haven't shown you guys before. Nope. It's the beetle. Might have to show you guys at the end, towards the end of the stream, some of the stuff that I've done, just so that you can see what's available to be found. At a brief glance, anyway. I think they're only common seeming because of the way you are playing this time. If you played Maker Base, they would seem less often. Which bits do you mean, D-Traveler? Do you mean the thrusters seem more common because of the way I'm playing? Because I'm getting through so many different grids? Yes. The lag, save, junkyard. Yes, yes, thrusters. I don't think that's the case. Like, I don't think I'm finding that much more scrap than I would be. Yeah, I'm not spending time designing a base, but there were several people on the Scrapyard server who managed to get thrusters up ridiculously quickly. Yes, not everyone will, but enough people do, and I'm one of them, that I'm like, oh, I think there's just a bit much. There's just a few too many. So it's something that I want to adjust. I don't think I've put anything in the seats yet.
Inventory full.
I don't really care about thrusters with my ping, I won't be flying. There is... on the servers that I host, there is always that thing. Most of you are from places not near Australia. I think it's why there are specific people who have made some of the more crazy contraptions on the server that stood out to me. Like, Frosty is Australian, therefore has good ping, sometimes even better than my own. So he's able to make more fancy stuff than, say, someone who's dealing with 330 ping. Because you know that things will typically react to your inputs the way you expect them to. Oh. It's on the roof, isn't it? Wait, is it in one of these containers? Must be. Hey, found it. Spent so much time flying around a scrapyard with a single large thruster, definitely could not get away with that on a US-based server. Yeah, exactly, Rusty. Like, you and I can get away, and the others who are in Australia can get away with using difficult to control vehicles when anyone who's... I think the US-based people can kind of do it. A bit. If you're a US West Coast, because that's not too bad to Sydney. Like, your ping is sub 200 typically. But if you're Europe-based, oof, it's hard. Or if you're East Coast Canada, it's probably equally bad. Yeah, once you're around the 300 mark, you have to really consider everything you do. I'm tempted to grab some ice. But I also kind of like collecting the hydrogen, so I know that it's not too far away at least. Let's head back to the station and see if we can grab some more missions. But it was... I so look forward to doing some more Scrapyard server stuff. As I've got a bit of an idea of a group build goal or Scrapyard. For a Scrapyard server. Something that will require us or will substantially benefit from us all working together. That should be a lot of fun. Because some of the best bits about that Scrapyard series were the ice runs and the hectic coordination that was required. And so any build process that requires us all to work together, I think, will be good fun. The server max would be the same because it's the same hardware. Same hardware running it, so I can't increase server player caps in any meaningful way. Yeah, 2-bit, you're a little late for the MMOS. It's set up and functional. I made an MMOS crane, and it works. What has the world come to? That is proof of just how much I like cranes. Alright, what do we got here? Another large hydrogen tank. Have I put too many large hydrogen tanks in? They do seem quite common. Food paste. I'm sure it's fine. Oh, I don't need another grinder. Go away. Take that though. What else is around here? It's in the other half of this warehouse. No. Even as you talked about ping, the video started skipping. It's really annoying that Twitch has been having that issue lately. Just as an aside. There is a Twitch issue with transcontinental streams. Sometimes I can't actually watch Wasted or Avac when they're streaming, just because apparently going from the UK to Australia, Twitch is like, it costs too much to pay Amazon for that. Yeah, Frosty, it would be very cool if you could set up a Nexus Scrapyard server. Oof. If you could set one up where it's like, you have this zone is, or this planet is this, and this planet is this, and then there's some interplanetary goal for the server. Like you have one planet in Australia, one planet in the US, one planet in Europe. That would be pretty cool. The challenge with that is always, I'm gonna play on the Australia planet. And so you need to have some way to combine everyone in a fun way, and that's the thing that I've always fallen down on. Because I think the tech is there to do it, but the idea to make it fun is not. Not yet, anyway. Eula, I don't want people to be able to sell steel plate to the traders. The stuff that you're going to be able to sell to the traders is stuff that has value to you. Because if it has value to you, it has value to them. And that makes it a meaningful decision. You're not just like, well, I'm just going to sell off all this junk, because this guy wants it, even though he wants 1 cent per piece. I don't care, it's still money. So instead I want you to be deciding, well, do I need this, or do they need this? Do I need the money or do I need the item? But yeah, that's kind of the I want the meaningful decision. Well, the small connected to the grid so you always have it. Yeah, I probably should have done that. I did do that before. Kept it as a spare on the side. The scrapping's been pretty good today. Got a battery. Actually, the scrapping hasn't been that great today. Have I actually gotten anything wildly? I haven't even gotten a cargo container today. Scrapping's been rubbish today. What am I talking about? I think I was just so happy I had the crane that I didn't even think about what I was looting today. Gotta make a cake. Ah, I made... on Thursday, I got to have Toby for the whole day because my partner was working. So he and I had the whole day together and it was a bit of a rainy day. So I'd planned ahead that we were going to do some baking together. And it was so much fun. Because I'd had time to plan for it and it wasn't just like, I'm cooking dinner, and now I've got to figure out how I can get you to be involved with this. It was like, no, we're going to bake together, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and you can do this bit. There's only one bit that he can't actually help with, because it's handling hot stuff, hot honey. And I was like, yeah, that's not a great idea. But, so we made honey jumbles, which are a discontinued biscuit that used to be available in Australia, which is a ginger, soft, almost cakey biscuit with royal icing on top. And it was so much fun making them with him. Haven't thought about honey jumbles in decades. Yeah, that's probably why they got discontinued, because I hadn't either, but then I thought about them, might have been like 6 months ago, and was like, trying to find them in the shops, and I still hadn't seen them, and and then I eventually looked it up and I'm like, oh, they got discontinued in 2021, but the company that made them was like, look, sorry we've had to discontinue these, no one was buying them, but if you really want them, here's the recipe. And to me, I was like, yeah, that's how you cancel a product. Cancel it and let anyone make it. So it has like 185 mils of honey in the biscuit dough, and that's where most of the sugar comes from. This is the identical grid. No, this is different. This is the same grid, but it is a different one because this is the vanilla one, which has this. Yes. Now I got something useful. Yeah, they're gingery and sweet. I really like them. I got a cargo. Yeah, when I found out that they shared the recipe, I was like, oh, there's no requirement on a company to do that. They've just done that because they're like, yeah, this is good PR. We should do this. This softens the blow a little bit. It's not critical. See, it's comments like that that led me to make that post on my original YouTube channel where I was like, I'm really bad at self-promotion. Here's me telling you where else I do stuff. Because yeah, lots of people have made comments like yours where they're like, oh yeah, I've watched you for ages on this. I didn't know you streamed. I'm like, oh, I need to stop sucking at this. I'm not going to stop sucking at this, but I probably need to. The bit I suck at being, well, self-promotion, but there's probably other things. Spider, you stay away. I'm busy. Let's squish this in here. Get in. Get in. Uh-oh. Oh, hang on. The thing on top of the mag plate is in the way. The landing gear. So that's an ammo thruster. So it sticks out well beyond the visible construction frame. Oh! Auto lock off.
Meteor
You're
storm
not bad at self-promotion, you actively avoid it. I mean... Yes, true. I don't want to change though. I just don't want to be that person. I want to figure out ways to do it where I don't actually have to do it. It's probably what I mean. Oh man, go away, go. 1 sec. Remember. Oh man, the cough just started. Hang on. It's like saying you are bad at swimming because you refuse to flap your arms. I mean, I both love that and disagree with it. But yes. No, I keep going, like, I keep reading these things from various like, creator agencies and blah, 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 things, stuff like that, where they're like, these are the stuff you should be doing. If you're not doing these things, you're not doing your job. And then I go, I don't want to do those things. Can I not do those things? I cannot do those things. We've gotten this far without doing those things. I'm sure it'll be fine. Why not start to merge block and weld up all your thrusters? Because at some point I might well delete them all. I've been contemplating deleting every single thruster that I have. And starting fresh. Once I've got the new spawns appearing for the MES spawns. The Flipsy channel has 18.5 million views. Huh. I haven't actually looked at that stat in a long time. I think I last looked at it when it gave me a notification that I'd passed 10 million. I think the main channel's got, I think, 50? Not it's not even the main channel half the time these days. I'm often getting more views on Flipsy than I am on Splitsy. So I can't even call it the main channel, it's the original channel now. I've got to try and rename it in my head because I'm like, well, actually Flipsy's better in some ways. It's the way the things went. But yeah, I think it might be 50? Maybe? I don't know. Not sure I want to open this while I'm streaming, but see. I can get to it in a reasonable time frame. Oh, and oh. Don't run into that. Lifetime. Lifetime total views. It's taking a while to calculate it. Total views. Oh no, it's it's more than that. 77 million. That does include 4.2 million views on a short. And almost 1 million views on another short. What type of cheese is orange? Mimolette. I think I've gotten as closest to the Mimolette. I think it's closer to Mimolette than Red Leicester. That's possibly because I'm more familiar with Mimolette than I am with Red Leicester. Just thought Red Leicester was a bit more red. Honestly, I found Flipsy first about 2 to 3 years ago by Scrapyard series, and I learned about Splitsy like a year ago. Yeah. Yeah. Some American cheddars. Yes. There are a few cheeses that are orange. I just think the orange looks better than if I'd made it yellow. I think it's more obviously meant to be something rather than why are you throwing a wheel of blocks at things. Like, I think calling an orange thing cheese just takes less... Huh? Oh! Like, I feel like it avoids that a bit. Yeah, if I could have put holes in it and made it a Swiss cheese, then I might have. I could have made a... I was thinking about making a wedge that was larger, that had some holes in it, but I couldn't see a way to make it look right without getting really big. I originally thought Flipsy was his name and Splitsy was something someone made up as a joke. Yep. And I've had a few comments over the years from people being like, hey, do you know this other guy is stealing your content? Which is very sweet for people to let me know that. So... because they're worried that I'm getting my content stolen. Well, Survival Maybe was before I even had ever streamed on Twitch. And I only had one YouTube channel back when well, I had two because of Zebra Monkeys, but... finding me through Survival Maybe is kind of as original as you get, unless you found me somehow through Light Echoes. Because Light Echoes is going way back. It's a whole different channel altogether. It hasn't seen a new video in a long, long time. Okay, so how much money do I have? 53,000. So... I'm thinking, and I'm interested in your thoughts on this. I'll need you guys to give me some ideas around it. I'm thinking that each night I don't move my large rover from here, is going to cost an extra, what, 10,000 to stay? So it's going to be like 40,000 for the first night, 50 for the second, 60 for the third. Or do we, maybe we start with 50 and go up 10k from there. 50, 60, 70. So by the third night, I'm going to need to run enough search missions that I possibly will be like, nah, I've got to just go around the world this time. Wonder how much of survival maybe still works. Pretty much all of it should. Keen, like maybe some of the scripts don't work anymore, but everything else should work. Oh, hello. Well, with this spider arriving, I think it's time for me to wrap up for today. I will be back tomorrow with some more space engineers right here. I will be back with Shaq, and we'll be celebrating... Go away! I'm gonna climb some stairs so you can't follow me. These stairs. Ah! You can't fit in here, you can't fit in here. So, I'll be back with Shaq tomorrow, celebrating our 1 year of Combined Arms, where we will be declaring war. We have no idea what that's going to mean. We have no idea what's going to happen with it. And it's going to be really fun to find out. There seemed to have been some scripted events that happened in my build world where I was building my cannon on a hang glider. Or as you guys named it, the hung glider. And so we may run into those as well. So there are things that are going to happen. There are things afoot. And I'm really looking forward to it. So that's tomorrow at the same time as today. And I will see you all then. Have a great one, everyone. Bye.